the first thing I want you to know as we're looking at what Roosevelt will do is that he campaigned on this idea of a New Deal. He said that the government must take action and strike a bargain with every American. That Roosevelt says, you vote for me and our government will establish a new deal for you. And the deal that we'll have for you will return prosperity to America because our government is going to take action to solve this problem. When Roosevelt takes power, he's going to assemble a whole panel of advisors, many different economic advisors, because he wants to hear from them different viewpoints on the issues. His concern is developing a program that's going to best serve Americans. And he's going to have these advisors give him and ask him different questions. Should we just regulate the economy by working with businesses? Kind of a middle-of-the-road approach. Should we break up all big businesses? Certainly a progressive idea where we had seen people like Taft in the years and decades prior break up big businesses. Or should we take more of a socialist point of view and let the government actually run this economy and get it back on its feet? And Roosevelt is going to balance these ideas. He's going to listen to all of these different advisors, and he's going to send, between March 9th and June 16th of 1933, right after he takes office, bill after bill after bill to Congress. And these are all really big ideas. And it's called the 100 Days. And in those 100 days, when President Roosevelt sends those bills, you're going to see 15 major new laws passed. And together, they're called the first New Deal. Roosevelt knows that with this first New Deal, his primary goal here, in addition to fixing the economy, has to also be getting Americans to calm down. Make it so that Americans have confidence again in our banking system, because nothing's going to get better if banks are failing. Remember, we have a question that we're looking at here. Is the government responsible for the economic well-being of its people? And the answer to that question, as far as FDR is concerned, is, yeah, you know what, we are responsible for your well-being. You demand action. I'm going to have to calm you down. And I can do that by talking to you more regularly. He's going to give a series of regular radio addresses every week. He calls them fireside chats. You can see him over here giving a fireside chat on the right-hand side. 60 out of 122 million Americans listen. That's almost half the population. And he's telling people that you've got to put your money back in the banks, don't keep it under the mattress. And what he does by giving this speech is calm people down, tell them that he's going to take care of their money. And when banks open after that fireside chat, people listen. They put their money back in the banks. And with the banks more stable, FDR is going to be able to do what he can to show people their money is protected. A great example of that is the Glass-Steagall Act, which passes in 1933. Because that law is going to take banks, here's a big bank where we put all of our money. And that big bank is going to be separated into two sides. It's going to say, you have to take all of that money that people deposit and you have to guarantee it. Instead of using whatever you want with that money, if people deposit money with you in that bank, you have to keep that money separate. You have to keep that money safe. You can only do certain things with it. We're going to insure that money with the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation so that that money is safe. Now, if you have investments that you want to make, if you have money that you make off interest or anything else that you do, you can take that money and you can risk it. But you can't take the money of these people that they deposit with you and risk that. up to $250,000 today is protected, guaranteed to be there. The banks can risk other kinds of investments, but not your money that you put in. And this is a great example of can the government and FDR fix the economy? And as we showed before, that the government's responsible for the well-being of its people, in this case, that first New Deal includes the Glass-Steagall Act, and it can convince people to put more money back into the banks to help the economy.